What is going on, FG3000 back in the place to be, and welcome to Noah's Heart. Now before we begin, today's video is brought to you by Noah's Heart, so if you do like what you see and you want to try out the game yourself, please do so using my referral links below this video. So let's go ahead and jump on in and I'll show you some of my favorite standout features of Noah's Heart. Now to avoid main story spoilers, this video is going to focus on three aspects of the game: challenge, arena, and exploration. Now when it comes to exploration, here is the literal world that you can explore, and you can see each region has their own exploration rate. As you complete quests in those areas, uncover secrets, you will increase this exploration rate and get even more rewards. Now for me personally, having a big massive world to explore is one thing, but I'm also super interested in how I'm going to be traversing that world. So here in Noah's Ark, of course, you can run around using WASD, you can sprint as you can see here, you also have a mount that you're going to get really early on that just comes from nowhere. And get this, you see this big massive castle? I'm sure it has a front door, but FG ain't got time for front doors. So I'm going to use my rocket pack and just go over the wall this way and then just glide on over to the front door. So you can sprint around the world, you can double jump, you can use a rocket pack, but my favorite way to get around in this game is the grappling hook. And that sheer level of freedom has to be the best part, right? Like if you see something and you're like, yo, I want to be on top of that. you can go be on top of that. It doesn't matter what your reasons are. So I just want to go up on top of this building. And sometimes, check this out, sometimes there's actually a reason to be on top of that, because there's these hidden treasure chests all throughout the world that'll get you more exploration points as well as more resources. As you can see, I can't tell you how many of my favorite moments in games like this was finding people in some of the highest peaks of the game, literally for no reason. Like we're just up here looking at the horizon, right? So really cool. So when it comes to exploration, basically do all the things. Like I mentioned, the game is going to keep track of your exploration rate and give you tons of rewards based on your completion. So now let's talk about combat. So outside of the main story, you can find combat encounters here in the challenge mode. You have normal realms, hard realms, phantom training, but for the sake of this video, we're going to tackle these hard realms, which are basically hard mode dungeons. So we're going to tackle the Shrine of Thunder. This is a hard mode dungeon. My current rating is actually below the recommended rating. If I don't feel too confident tackling a dungeon that's much harder, I can always do matchmaking and find a party, but I'm gonna go ahead and solo this bad boy. It's gonna cost me 45 fatigue to enter this dungeon, and fatigue will replenish over time, but if you find yourself burning through fatigue, you can get even more for free in the afternoon or in the evening. Now, just because I'm soloing this dungeon doesn't mean I'm going in there by myself. I can actually bring 4 mercenaries to combat to help me as AI companions. So the name of this dungeon is called the Shrine of Thunder. So I want to bring as many fire units as possible, maybe thunder, and I want to kind of avoid bringing wind units. So let me go ahead and make my team. So we're going to go ahead and bring a fire unit, and that will be my possession. I'll talk about that in a second. So here we are inside the dungeon in combat. Like I mentioned, even if you're solo in a dungeon, you're never by yourself. Here are all my phantoms that came along with me, and I'll show you what you can do in combat. So the main weapon that I'm using right now is the dual blades. I also have the option of a bow and arrow. And even a good old-fashioned sword and board. So as I showed off earlier, when you create a team of mercenaries, you can choose which one of your mercenaries to possess, and possession will unlock 2 unique skills tied to that specific phantom. And every single phantom has their own set of possession skills they can give to the main character. So even though right now I'm using dual blades, the possession that I'm using actually uses a polearm. So check out these abilities. But my favorite possession by far has to be this one, because it's a literal Psycho Crusher. Love that. All right, so let's do some combat with this boss encounter. So first things first, I can actually tab target the target that I want to attack, dash toward them, and start putting in work. All of your characters do have ultimates as well, and I'll show off a few of them here. One of my favorite ones is this one right here, so check this out. Literally summoning pink ponies from another dimension. Pink ponies from another dimension. It's crazy. But let's go ahead and focus on the boss here, shall we? Now, of course, if you're in a party, all of your AI companions are going to be replaced with real life people, clearly. And that's not even his final form. Now, this part of the boss fight is extremely fun. I'm going to let this one play out. Look at what the boss does to push melee off. Oh, a frozen hand. That is awesome. Now, one thing not to worry about when it comes to your AI companions, the game knows that your AI companions are probably going to step in all the bad things, including myself, but they will infinitely respawn, right? So you don't have to worry. As long as you live, you're going to be okay. And down the boss goes. And that's just the beginning. When it comes to combat, you still have Phantom training, which allows you to get elemental specific type resources for your Phantoms. You have Temple of Dimension, Realm of Chaos, so there's still a lot more to uncover in the later levels. And speaking of more combat, you also have Arena, 1v1 PvP against an opponent, or entire Phantom Team versus Phantom Team PvP, where you can select an opponent, set up your team, and get it on. But even now, I'm still just scratching the surface when it comes to content in this game. You have the Trial of Wind, and these Trials of Wind are basically llama races in the world where you try to reach a location at a specific time. You also have a tower-style gameplay mode called the Trial of Light, where you complete each floor, get rewards. This also is tied into an idol system as well, which will give you resources based on the highest floor you've completed. And those said resources go into powering up your Phantom. Speaking of Phantoms, I think it's time for a good old-fashioned summon session. We're gonna go ahead and let this full summon animation play out and see if we can't get a new character here. And I'll show you exactly what you can use dupes for as well. We got ourselves a new purple. This is by far my favorite character in the game. I absolutely love her artwork. And we have a brand new SSR. Hello, Kiko Chanel, new favorite character. All right, so here's the brand new character we just unlocked, Kiko Chanel. She is a dark assassin, so leveling her up is really, really easy. I can hit this one button to max level her, so now she's level 35. I can also use these basic weapon stones to increase the power of her weapon. And if I really like her, I can send her some affection gifts to build up her affection meter as well, which also comes with its own rewards. And of course, one of the most important aspects of Phantoms, being able to possess them and get new abilities. Let's check this out. All right, so let's check out our first skill. Oh, you can use it 3 times before it goes on cooldown. And then, oh, look at that. I left a shadow behind. Very cool. And again, I can't stress this enough, I'm just scratching the surface. There's also careers in this game, so you can be a chef, you can be a craftsman, a tailor. The game also has one of the most unique guild features I've seen in a game in a long time. Check this out. The more active you are in a guild, your guild activity is then translated into a salary that you get paid out once a week. And that salary is diamonds, like diamonds you can actually use to summon for things. Like, that is pretty cool. So that will do it. Once again, thank you so much to Noah's Heart for sponsoring this video. If you like what you saw, don't forget, check out all my referral links down below this video and get prepared alongside me for when this game finally hits global launch. My name is FG, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.